There you go, Ray.
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that.
That's it.
Jesus God, I got a 2-hour lecture here. The reason we are all here is we are lovers. We are lovers. There are a lot of films being made today. The Academy Awards last February were terrible, weren't they? Awful films made by people who didn't like being alive.
True.
I'm very lucky. I remember being born. I was on a French program with some French psychiatrists a couple of years ago, and they said, "Monsieur Bradbury, you do not remember being born." I said, "Yes, I do." Yeah. They said, "No, no, no, Monsieur Bradbury, you do not remember being born." I said, "Were you there?" So I remember being born, and when I was 3 years old, I saw Lon Chaney in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. When I saw him in the Phantom of the Opera when I was 6. I saw the dinosaur films, The Lost World, when I was 7. I fell in love with a lot of things, and all of you are here tonight. Just talking to some of you, I know that you fell in love with a lot of the things that led you up here to be with me. When I was 9 years old, I saw the skeleton dance in a local theater in Waukegan. I didn't go home. My father had to come find me and drag me out of the theater because I saw it 3 times that day. And I sat through some terrible films with Adolphe Menchou, you know. How could you do that? Well, so anyway, when I saw that film, I knew that one day I wanted to meet someone like Walt Disney. And when I came to LA when I was 14, I went down to the County Museum. They had a small room downstairs with cells from the various Disney films, from Steamboat Willie and from the Skeleton Dance. And I went every Sunday for a year just looking at those cells. And so along the way, I hope someday to be part of something like this. And when I was 20 years old, I saw Fantasia, and I staggered out of the theater. I was selling newspapers at the time, and I took all my friends to see Fantasia. I didn't have that money, but I spent it all for tickets. And if they didn't like Fantasia, to hell with it. And a wonderful thing happened a couple of years ago. They were doing a new score for Fantasia over at the studio about 12 years ago, and they called me and they said, "You like Fantasia, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I do." They said, "Well, we're doing over the score today and with a full symphony orchestra. Would you like to come over and watch?" So I ran over to the studio, and I walked in the studio, and there's 110 musicians playing Night on Wald Mountain. Jesus God, it was beautiful. And I stood there entranced. And when it was over, the orchestra conductor saw me standing there. He brought me up to the podium and introduced me to the orchestra. And I'm the one that got the applause. And I was there because I loved them and because of Night on Wald Mountain. I formed a film society within the Writers Guild 30 years ago. And on Halloween, I'd present a bunch of Disney Halloween films. I did a whole evening of last reels from the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and Alice in Wonderland, and Sleeping Beauty, because I wanted those children to see these great scenes which combined terror with beauty. So you see, over the years, I wanted to wind up with people like you. And the wonderful thing happened one Christmas back in 1964. I was in a shopping center in Beverly Hills. I saw a man approaching me with a bunch of gifts, and his head was standing over the top. And I said, "My God, that's Walt Disney. That's my hero." So I ran over to him and I said, "Mr. Disney?" He said, "Yes." I said, "My name is Ray Bradbury." He said, "I know your books." I said, "Oh my God, that's wonderful." He said, why? I said, because someday soon I want to buy you lunch. And he said, tomorrow? How about that? When's the last time anyone ever said tomorrow to you? They're always saying next week, next month, next year. But the next day, I was in Disney's office having soup and sandwiches with Walt. And we babbled like children. That's the great thing. And I knew that I met a lover that loved life as much as I did. So over a period of time, and about a year later, having lunch with Walt,